Okay, we're into chapter 2, and in chapter 2, we are only going to have 4 videos, so you're almost done with all the videos that you're watching. Quadratic functions are also known as the square function and the parabola. Standard form of a quadratic function is f of x or y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A is not 0. A tells us, the leading coefficient of A tells us 2 things. It lets us know if we open up when it's positive or down when it's negative. Also, the absolute value of A, if it is greater than 1, that is, A is less than -1, or greater than 1, we have a vertical stretch. The graph is skinnier or narrower. When absolute value of A is less than 1, that is, you're a proper fraction between -1 and 1, it's called a vertical shrink. This book also uses the word compression, and that means the graph is more of a smiley face, fatter, and wider. What else do we know? H is always equal to -b over 2a, and this is the x-coordinate of the vertex. And the axis of symmetry is the line x equals h, which is -b over 2a. Note, it's an equation. It's not a number. The axis of symmetry is not h. It's not h equals a number, but it's x equals a number called h. K is the y-coordinate of the vertex, which is literally just f of h is equal to k. K is known as the min or max value of the function depending on whether it opens up. H is not the max or min, it's where it occurs. The vertex is a max point, meaning coordinates, or a min point, but it is not the max or min. C is also known as the y-intercept when you're in standard form. Now, vertex form. In vertex form, we have the function f of x equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. A, remember, lets us know if we're opening up and down, are we narrower or wider. It is also called the leading coefficient. When I set the quantity inside equal to 0, it not only tells me what h is, but if I actually write it as equation, this is the line of symmetry. And notice the K, I forgot, it is up here, is the max min point, and there's your vertex. The max min value, and here's your vertex, which is either the max or min point. Now, to change from standard form to vertex form, you don't have to complete the square, which is the way all of your Turkey books show it. I've never understood why. But all you need to do is know A and B. You need to be able to find H, which is -b over 2a. You need to be able to find K, which is just f of H. It's the x value plugged in to find the y value. Determine what your vertex is. And knowing the original A that you knew, the H and K you've determined, insert it into the standard form of vertex form. So, for example, when I give you y is equal to 2x squared plus 20x plus 19, a is 2, b is -20, -b over 2a is -20 over 4 is -5, and please note, I am evil about this. I never want to see the quantity squared. I demand you do the square because this number will always be positive. So what is -5 squared? Well, it's the same as 5 squared. So notice I got rid of negative out of my mouth. And it's 25. So now I do the arithmetic. I get -31. I know my A is 2. I know my vertex is -5, -31. And so I can insert into my equation f of x equals, or y equals, 2 times the quantity x plus 5, quantity squared minus 31. Remember, these two are always opposites because this is minus h. H is negative, so minus h is positive. Example 2, y equals 8x squared minus 32x plus 27. A is 8, b is -32. So h being negative b over 2a is 32 over 16 is 2. Notice again, I do the square automatically. I end up with negative 5. And now in this one, notice this is a positive 2, so minus h is a negative 2. And I end up with y equals 8 times the quantity x minus 2 squared minus 5. Now, let's do another one. Notice the c is missing. It's 0. Please, folks, when you add and subtract 0, it does nothing for you. So please don't lose it. So h is equal to negative b over 2a. So I have a negative 8 over a negative 4 is equal to 2. Again, I put in the square automatically, and I end up with k is 8, the vertex is 2, 8, and I have an equation. Now, if you've had me before, I've discussed this, but I think this is really, really cool, especially if you have to take tests without a calculator. And note, in college, in math classes, they have usually a portion with and a portion without, so get your lives together. For those interested in this pattern, when x equals h, this is always true. So when you're at the vertex and you have h, ax squared plus bx, when I put in the h, that is ah squared plus bh, is always going to be negative ah squared. And so k is always just going to be negative ah squared plus c. Check it out. This is really cool. When you have messy numbers or no calculators, math is beautiful. So notice, look right here. See what happens when I come in. What is this opposite? Positive 8. C is 0. What is this guy's opposite? Negative 32 plus 27 is negative 5. What's this guy's opposite? Negative 50 plus 19 is negative 31. Pretty neat pattern. Now, for truly yucky numbers or things with lots of decimals where we're just approximating anyway, we use the calculator. There are several ways you can do this on the calculator. I'm going to show you two. Just verbally, I'm not going to do it. And there's at least one more that I'm going to show you in class with the TI Inspire. I love this calculator. One way is you can get a graph page, you can type in the graph, then you can go to menu, analyze, and if it opens up, you're going to find the min. If it opens down, you're going to find the max. And the calculator finds h and k for you right away. So you know your a, h, and k, and you can do it. Another way is a calculator page. You'll do your control divide, and honestly, folks, if you would like, you don't have to worry. You just keep on going. Give me a second here. I've got to replug in my, whatever you call it, my cell phone. It went into low battery. You just have to put the opposite here, and if you're in control divide, you can just do 2 times whatever it is on the bottom. And this makes it easy, and once you press enter, you see a number on your calculator. Hit your control key, then the var key, and you'll see A and S arrow appears, and type X after it, and press enter. And then just type in the function, say, like the one of them that we did, 2x squared plus 20x plus 10, press enter, and it'll give you the k value. So it's very nice. Okay, now, given these examples, sometimes they just ask us to find the max or find the min. That's all they want. That means they want k, folks. They don't want hk. So I give you the problem, and we have to do all the work we did earlier except writing the equation. We find a, we find b, we find h. We have to find k, and notice this will be my max or min. Since this is greater than 0, the graph opens up, and so this will be a min. But here's where it's really cool when you don't have a calculator. Notice all I do here is the ah squared. I have 27 over 4. I negate it. I put the -1. 4 times -1 is -4. Negative 31 over 4. Now, please note, you have to read what they say. If they want the min, it's just K. If they want the min point, it's the vertex. Problem 2. I give you the same thing. We're going to do just like we did the other ones. We're going to find our A and B. We find our H. We insert it. The work is easy. What if I use the pattern? I negate this, so I have a negative 18 plus 11 is negative 7. Notice I didn't even need to do the middle term. It's really kind of nice. Is this a max or min? Since A is greater than 0, the graph opens up, and so we have a min of negative 7, and the min point is negative 3, negative 7. Now, we have a couple more boards to go over, and then we will be done. So, a couple more problems. Notice this one's going to open down, so I'm going to get a max point. I find my H, I find my K. Easy enough to get 19, but notice I take the opposite of AH squared and add the 1. That saves some time for those people interested in patterns. And so I have a max of 19, and the max point is 319. Again, since A here we see is negative 3, this graph opens down, so I'm going to have a max when I find my K. I find my A and B. I find H is negative 3/2. You all don't like fractions. Notice I squared it automatically. I didn't put it in my calculator. I didn't insert it and tell myself to square it. I just said, what's the stinking square? Positive 9 over 4. So, you've got this problem you can do. Or you could just come here and say, oh, I'm not going to even look at this. What's your opposite? 27 over 4, add 10. So what's your opposite? 27 over 4, add 10. 4 times 10 is 40, plus 27 is 67 over 4. So K is equal to 67 over 4 is my maximum value. But my maximum point, or the coordinates of my maximum point, or the ordered pair of my maximum point is negative 3/2, comma, 27/4. Now, the axes of symmetry, which we've already covered in detail, but I'll hit it again just because here's two things people mess up. First off, the axes of symmetry is an equation, not a number. Don't tell me, all the axes of symmetry is 2. It's 5. It's negative 3/2. It's 8. Huh? That's a number. Don't say H equals 2. That's wonderful. You just gave me an X value. I'm thrilled. No, you tell me X equals 2. X equals negative 3/2. X equals pi. I need X equals. So do not just give me a number. Don't say H equals. Don't say a number, but actually tell me X equals and then write a number. So down here in the problem, my A and my B, I find H is 1/3. That's not the equation. 1/3 is not the answer. The equation is X equals 1/3. Next one. Again, I do the complicated stuff. I say, oh, this is X minus H. X plus 9, I solve it. My H is negative 9. Oh, therefore, I've got it. Now, in reality, folks, when we're in this form, we know that this is negative H. So plus H is negative 9. You could have just gone ahead and done the work. That's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to show all the other stuff. So here, even though I showed it from the definition X minus H, you say this minus H is negative 6. So plus H is positive 6. Therefore, the equation of the axes of symmetry is X equals 6. Now the last board. Many of you have not done this unless you had me. A lot of books don't do this, but it's important to know it. This is theory. Given the vertex, that is the max or min point, and some other point on your parabola, you need to write the equation in vertex form. And yes, you could square it all out and put it in standard form, but I'm going to stop there. Now, the problem is you don't know A. So the first thing I do is say, all right, here's my equation. I do know the vertex. So this is my answer if I only knew what A was. So I've written my equation. I now want to find A. That's why they gave me the point. So I say, oh, a generic value for X and Y is 0, 0. I plug it in. I find A. Now that I know what A is, I go to my original equation that I wrote here with the vertex, and I replace the A value with the one I determined. Yes, folks, it's that easy, and I'm doing 4 of these. Here's the next problem. I tell you it's a min point. I don't need to tell you that. I could have just called it a vertex. Okay, but I either have to say vertex, max, or min for this to work. And so my min point, I put the opposite and I keep it. And so there's my equation if I only know A. I now take the given extra point. My Y is 7, my X is 1. 3 squared is 9. I solve my equation. A is 4/3. Notice here's my equation. I just need to replace A with 4/3. A third problem, I threw in a max point. And so that means my vertex is 2, 8. So I put in my -2 and my +8 because minus the 2 gives me a -2. Then I put in my extra point for X and Y. I find A is -2. I go back to the equation that's just missing A, and I insert the A. My vertex is -1, -8, so I get a +1 and a +8. I need A. Oh, here's the generic point. Now plug it in. 3 squared is 9. Solving A is -1. So now that I know A, I go up to the equation that I wrote and I insert it. Now this problem could have been asked by just giving these problems by just giving a graph. This one is right under, I put it right under number 3. I could have done it this way. They tell me, oh, I've given you the vertex. So notice I plug it in. Here's the spare point. There it is. I get my A and I can get my answer. So they can either give it to you in words and symbols or they can give it to you with a graph.